Welcome to another episode of Butterfly Blackout. It is a beautiful day. Saturday, the sun is shining. The birds are chirping. We had some rain.
Where?
And now we're dealing with COVID-20. Yes, I said COVID-20. Because COVID-19 we were recovering from, slowly but surely. Then all of a sudden, everybody opened up. Now, I was a fan of opening up the country because I wanted the business owners, the small business owners, the people who their money relies on their business to feed their families. I wanted people to go back to work. It broke my heart to see people losing their jobs, not knowing how they were going to feed their families. Many people couldn't even file for unemployment. I mean, it's very important to me that people can work, help their families, and do what they got to do, okay? But do it safely, obviously. We're not stupid. So I was hoping that people can open up their businesses, have safety measures in place. Now, here's the thing. You're going to have what the governor calls knuckleheads. In any crisis, we have them. Even if nothing's going on, we have knuckleheads. Just like every 4th of July or every time it's near, maybe 2-3 weeks before the 4th of July, you hear fireworks. It happens every year. Now people are complaining about fireworks. Where were you last year? We had fireworks, okay? Guess what? You'll hear them before the 4th of July. You'll hear them on the 4th of July. And you're going to hear them a couple weeks after the 4th of July. People have fun with fireworks. Except for if you're that New York Giants guy who blew up his hand. Yeah, but see, that's a whole other story. But we got past that. I know some of us were pissed. I was pissed. But either way, he got the fake hand and he was still doing his thing. So, with COVID-20 resurfacing, now people are starting to become sick again, apparently. Even D.L. Hughley, all of a sudden. Now he claims he's asymptomatic. And then he fainted on stage. Some people wonder, are you getting paid, sir? Because it seems like celebrities get sick with the coronavirus, and then all of a sudden, poof, they're okay. Were you ever really sick? Are you sick? Why would you play with people's emotions like that, sir? I don't know. I'm not in his household, but he claims he's asymptomatic. Now, again, I use this example all the time. If I am asymptomatic and I live in a household with 5 people, so 6 total, and I didn't get any of my family sick, there's a small chance I'm not going to get anybody else sick because I can't think that we're all asymptomatic. You know what I mean? That just doesn't really add up. But then again, I was never around anybody who had coronavirus. And I never visited China, and I really didn't travel outside of the state of New Jersey. So chances are I wouldn't have it. Now, for all these random people that have turned up sick all of a sudden, because, you know, if you go to a rally the next day, let's say 500 people go to a rally, the next day 499 people are sick with the coronavirus because it just happened overnight. So now you can get the coronavirus overnight. So if you go to a protest and you don't wear a mask, chances are you'll get the coronavirus overnight. But they want you to protest because it's your right. But you can't go to a rally because it's not your right because you have to worry about the coronavirus. If the coronavirus is such a big deal, then you shouldn't even be protesting. There should be police officers saying, we understand it's your right, but due to the coronavirus, you guys cannot be out here. It's too many people. You run the chances of getting sick. But you don't hear anybody saying that. They want you to go and march, protest. Yet, the numbers are going up. The numbers are not coming down. Yet, we have travel bans now. So, if you visit a state that's high risk, you have to self-quarantine for 2 weeks. If you paid attention to the task force, they resurfaced because they had to answer for why the numbers are spiking. Well, Dr. Fauci came on and, with his voice, said basically that, you know, people will be in large gatherings and do stupid things. I mean, yes, people will. Some people don't like being told what to do. And I understand that. Nobody, especially during the summertime, wants to wear a mask. If you're with your friends and none of you have been sick, the high chances of you getting sick really is low, right? But you run the risk if you're with a family member and that person has the flu. You run the risk of getting the flu. Hey, if you get the flu shot, you run the risk of getting the flu. You just won't get it as bad as other people will. Listen, I don't even get the flu shot. I got the flu shot one time and got the flu. Do you think I'm going to get the flu shot again? Hell no. I had the flu. I don't want that shit again. But go right ahead. Now, if you paid attention to the task force, they're allowed to come into your community and have a conversation with you and educate you about keeping yourself safe. Do you see the setup there, folks? So because we didn't want to stay home, because we didn't want to follow the rules, even though the majority of us did follow the rules, and we really don't know if these numbers are accurate, because remember, when the world was in crisis, the hospitals and your governors and your mayors were fudging the numbers. Think about it. You had elderly people in their, what are they called? Nursing homes.
Nursing homes.
And these are the same elderly people that can't go out. They can't go anywhere. They're confined to their bedrooms, many of them. The most they go is probably in a wheelchair, or they walk to the front steps and they sit on a porch or something, or they sit on a bench to get some fresh air. Many of them died. So I'm confused. How did they get the coronavirus? Oh, because there are asymptomatic people out there. How can you be asymptomatic if you never went anywhere? Are you getting all the facts? Should you all be nervous about these spikes all of a sudden? Is somebody not telling us something? You can't blame Trump for this one, because guess what? He's not a doctor. Oh, yes, Trump didn't act fast enough. Remember, before he closed our borders, what did he do? He said he wanted to close the border to China. He wanted to, prevent anyone from going and from anyone coming. Remember how everybody called him a racist? Well, they've been calling him a racist, but, he was racist against Chinese people. But that's not what he was doing. He heard about the Wuhan virus, and guess what? He was like, nah, son, don't bring that over here. But yet, y'all got mad at him. So he was like, all right, fine. Now, numbers are starting to turn up in the United States, and what happens? You're not closing? Why aren't you stopping travel? You need to shut it all down. But he's like, but I tried. I told y'all I was going to do that, but then you said I was being a racist. So do you want me to be a racist or not? Well, what am I doing here? But then he said he didn't want to close everything down because people have to work, right? He didn't want to close everything down because he's the first person to say, well, what about all my mental health people? Some people can't be by themselves. He was like, I got to think about them. You have other people that are suicidal. But hey, listen, what does he know? He turns to the experts. Dr. Fauci said, don't wear a mask. Why would you wear a mask? That's stupid. Now Dr. Fauci says, wear a mask. But you never see him with a mask. Now he's doing it for show. Because people kept saying, they don't see you with a mask. Put a mask on so you can please the people. COVID-20. Stay tuned. In the fall, we will premiere COVID-21. Now, feel free to practice safety, social distancing, all that other stuff. Listen, I say follow your instincts. Wear a mask, don't wear a mask. I don't tell people what to do. But be careful, because if Biden has his way, everybody will be forced to wear a mask. So for all of those with special needs, especially with asthma, he wants to force you to wear a mask. He's not thinking of your health, but this is the same guy who hides in his basement. So I really don't know what he's thinking. But hey, do you? Okay? And then earlier we were talking about the school system. I was on a town hall meeting with my son's school, and, the governor wants everybody back in school in the fall. And I'm thinking, sir, who's on your team? Because you do realize that the flu season's right around the corner. One cough and we're pretty much done. I mean, who's going to be in the schools to teach? Then you're talking about staggering learning. I know we all go to school. I know everybody ain't bright. But do y'all have to show how not bright you are? Like, I just don't understand. Maybe because you have older children, so you don't remember. See, when you're in a high profile position, you're catered to. So you don't remember having to go back and forth to, I don't know, taking your kids to school. There are people who have to go back and forth. They also have to go to work. So when you say staggering, that's impossible because we don't have it. Well, some of us don't have it where we have relatives that can go and get our kids. What's the protocol for that? And then you're kind of cutting the learning. So does that mean that these kids are going to be in school longer? Because they're only going to school really half a year. How does that all work? So what does that mean? They have to have the same grade 2 years in a row? What are we doing here?
The same.
But hey, I mean, I'm not an educator. I'm just a parent. But then again, there are some parents out there that have other people in their household who can pick up their kids.
What about the busing?
That's a whole other situation.
Because he never answered that, and you can't put kids on a bus, and I think that's where the staggering was supposed to come in. So we'll take a few kids on the bus in the morning.
I'm
we'll
sorry.
take a few kids on the bus in the afternoon.
Go back, Jeff. He didn't answer.
He didn't answer in detail any of this stuff. All your questions that you had, and you know what, he left it to the chunky black guy. I forget his name. He's the Secretary Board of Education for New Jersey.
Sir.
And he was supposed to go over with each district about an in-depth plan about how they plan on taking the kids and what they're going to do.
Governor Murphy.
They got 2
months.
From
Connecticut. I'm guessing you're not trying to get reelected. And that's okay, sir. We appreciate your services. So moving on. I am in bliss. It may not look like it, but this week started on Monday for me, where I realized God is a woman. I'm joking. I realized God is amazing. So, my girl, and this is directed to Angela Stanton King.
Okay.
Who I am a big fan of. I love that she keeps it real. She's unapologetic. And I've been stalking you to get you on this show. I'm going to keep stalking you until you answer and give me the right email address.
You said give me the right email address?
Because she gave the email address, but it keeps bouncing back, so it's not right. Yeah. So she was invited on the Breakfast Club last week. And I was a little cautious, just like she was invited to go on the Roland Martin show. And I sent her a message, and I was like, don't do it. Because Roland has you there just for, for entertainment purposes, just to build up his numbers. All he's going to do is overtalk you. She went and held her own. Mm-hmm. But the Breakfast Club. Not only is this woman running for the 5th District of Georgia, trying to replace Rep. Lewis. People in Georgia, if you want progress, you need to vote for her. Because you've been with this guy and he ain't doing nothing. Not only is she a mother of 5, not only is she used to be a convicted felon, and then she got that wiped clean. A published best-selling author. She's also the woman. She's a coroner?
A coroner?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
She served 3 body bags to the Breakfast Club. Now, she was on the show to talk about her campaign. Now, Angela, when you come on this show, we're going to talk about your campaign because it's important that people understand why you're running, and it's important they know who you are and why they should pick you, and not really pay attention so much to the Democrats and the Republicans, but why you over Lewis. You know what I mean? And I was interested in hearing about that. The Breakfast Club is a big platform. So anybody who goes on that platform or goes on that show, yes, go there for what you are doing. So if you're promoting an album, I want to hear about it. If you're promoting you running for a political office, I want to hear about that. But no, they didn't want to hear about that, but we could have told you that, Angela. But hey, listen, some people got to learn. They want to talk about Trump. Well, see, this is why you can't argue or you can't have intelligent conversations with idiots. Now, Charlemagne was probably the only one who was equipped to have this conversation with her, and Charlemagne was probably the only one that should have had this conversation with her. But shame on all of you for not giving her the time to talk about her campaign. All three of you were assholes, and that's why I don't listen to the show. Well, I stopped listening to the show because I'll get into that just after this. I'm gonna get to that. But Angela sat there and had to defend Trump in a way because they kept coming at her.
Not Angela Yee. Don't get
I'm
confused.
sorry, Angela Stanton King.
Miss Stanton.
So
yes.
we have Angela Stanton King that you see on the screen.
Yes.
So then the Breakfast Club consists of Charlemagne the God, DJ Envy, and Angela Yee.
Yes.
Charlemagne was the only one with common sense. Didn't argue, didn't even put his foot in his mouth because basically he knew he was no match for Angela Stanton King. DJ Envy, a.k.a. Drake, all up in his feelings. I wish we could play the song now.
It wasn't that bad. They got
Drake?
handed. It wasn't that bad.
Excuse me? Drake, you got caught up in your emotions that you couldn't even ask intelligent questions. You want to talk about gentrification in our neighborhoods. You even said our.
Yes.
He said to look at what's happening in Newark, in Jersey City, Kearney, where we can't even purchase property because of what they're doing to us.
Right.
I had to put the pause on that because I'm thinking, and pardon my French, motherfucker, you live in Jersey in a gated community in a mansion with a servant and a nanny with your matching family and your multiple cars. You're not broke. You show us on Instagram you're not broke. Excuse me, so what are you getting emotional about? Because you're not living in Newark. Now, if you were to move to Newark and put your money back into the community, then we could have a conversation.
Never happened.
But you're getting upset because of what now? And you get to leave where, I'm sorry, right now you're recording at your house. So you get to have all this space to yourself. Don't forget you got that beautiful driveway. You can buy your kids anything you want. I'm sorry, sir, what? I don't need to hear that from a millionaire. What's up?
I got to shoot him some bail before we keep going. He only got rich by real estate. He gets a nice chunk of change through the radio. But his real money that gave him that nice long driveway and all that stuff was real estate. He buys in the low income area, the Norks, the Kearneys, that. He is now, well, housing as in total has now been stopped. But the redlining, you heard of redlining, right? Mm-hmm. Where it's now in full effect. Rich minorities who
let them know what redlining is.
Redlining was the act of changing housing prices and housing areas to keep minorities out, in a nutshell. So when you find an area that's mostly all white, I forgot, like, what's one of the oranges that's mostly all white?
West Orange?
So West Orange compared to East Orange. It's night and day difference. Mm-hmm. But to buy a house over there, even if we had the money, they'd be like, no, and they'll find a way to keep us, they will find a way to keep us out. For whatever it is, they'll up the price, they'll up the zoning, they'll change whatever the rule is to keep the minorities out in a whole. He's now being structured with that, but with him and the crew that he does his housing through that. So in his feelings, to his defense, and she's not from this area, so I don't even know why he would have. I mean, general conversation, they're gentrifying Atlanta too, but to his defense, yeah, he should be in his feelings about that because that's his bread and butter. Not the radio.
Oh, so it's got nothing to do with you moving there or people actually moving there. It's because
houses.
It hurts your coins. Now we know why you got emotional, Drake. Then Angela Stanton King asked him because they kept trying to make her out to be like she is against the alphabet and symbols community, right? So my whole thing was, she's never said that. If you did your homework about the person you were interviewing, then you would have known that she has a gay son.
Yes.
But since you didn't do your homework, and if you actually paid attention to who you were talking to, she never said she didn't like the gay community. But hey, listen, don't let me tell you that. So she asked him, if your 11-year-old came to you, your daughter said that she wants to be a boy, she doesn't feel like a girl, cut off her breast, how would you handle it? So he goes on to say, well, if she was 17, 18, I would say, it's your body. You can do whatever you want to. But if you're like 11 or whatever, no, not, you'd have to wait till you're older. Not
Right.
in my household.
Right.
And it's like, but that's what she said. She said, well, you're old enough. You, an adult, you can make the decisions. But when you're in my house, you're what I birthed you. So why
Right.
did you get mad at her for saying that? But you said the same thing, sir. And then she got on the fact that she doesn't agree with the Wades and how they're exploiting their son because gay is a sexual preference. Basically, you thinking that you want to be a woman, but how do you know what it's like to be a woman?
Well, this is when Angela Lee tried to cut her apart and saying that it's gender and preference, two different things.
Right.
And she was defending her own against that.
Well, yeah,
Very
see,
well.
they all run together, so they're going to defend each other. So when you see Drake and Angela Yee, going so hard for their family or their friends, that's because they all run together, okay? So you can't speak negatively about the people that are in their camp, point blank, period. So, yes, then they got on to abortions.
Mm-hmm.
And Angela Yee comes out with saying, is it a fetus or a baby?
Mm-hmm.
That's when I knew, at that moment, Angela Yee was canceled. So I don't follow her. I will never follow her. I don't care what she does. Because my thing is, you cannot, and the best part of that whole conversation was when Angela Stanton King asked Angela Yee if she had children.
Mm-hmm.
And Yee said no. And that was like pretty much done for me. Because it's amazing how people without children have so much of an opinion.
Facts.
And you don't know nothing.
Facts.
You're going to sit here and tell me that in your household, yes, children, 5-year-old boys, what? Sometimes you see little boys do some gay stuff, like hold each other's hands, right? Because they're friends. They don't know nothing. They don't know no better.
Right.
But you teach them that they're a boy and that they're a girl. Now, if there's something going on, then you get them help because it's a lot more than just, oh, I feel different in my body. It's also called therapy. But as a parent, it's your mission. It's your duty to protect your child. I don't understand why people don't understand that. Why are you sexualizing your child? The Wades are sexualizing their son. I don't care that he goes by being a woman or a girl. You are sexualizing that child. You're basically putting that kid on a poster and letting all these pedophilia mother effers come out for him. You don't pay attention to that? You know how they sit here trying to X off transgenders left and right? Like, what is wrong with you? I don't even understand. This lady came onto your show to talk about her campaign. And this is what y'all do, and she has to sit here and talk about that and then talk about Trump. And then when she flips it and moves on to Biden, y'all don't want to talk about that because you know that Biden's a fraud. But you know what? Y'all keep living in that bubble. Charlemagne, I don't like you.
He wasn't this bad on this one.
Because he knew his place.
He literally stopped
He
him
knew
from
his
doing a lot of
place.
stuff. He
He's-
stopped
But
him.
I'm on the
he's the
fence.
straightest one there. Like he follows what he follows. He knows when to be quiet and when
Yeah.
not. So at the end of the day, he knows he has to earn a check. But he lets a lot less stuff slide than the other ones do.
Here's the thing. I'm going to say it. We already suspected it. I believe you're leaving. I think if you did leave this Breakfast Club show, you will be fine. I don't
we
think
know that.
anybody will tune in to Drake and Ye.
God.
Number one, she's been MIA for a minute anyway. Envy spins his DJ, the People's Choice, but nobody ever gives him something to play. It's already pre-recorded. So you can't always ask people to give a suggestion and then you don't play their songs.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yeah.
So, why don't I like him? Well, Angela Yee was on Revolt's Black News with Ebony Williams. So I finally got a chance to see an episode of that.
Oh, how was it?
It wasn't bad. I think this is the platform for Ebony. I would rather see her on this show than the State of
Say
the
the
Culture.
culture, right? See?
So I don't think she should do both.
Did she have her breast out again like she did on the
No.
photo? Good.
I think she should just stick with this. This is her niche. So she had Say Her Name, Protect Our Women. Basically, because you had the guy, I forget his name, who felt disrespected by a woman, and he hit her with a skateboard.
Oh, that guy. Yeah.
So then she had Angela Yee on to talk about Russell Simmons because he was on the show, and she felt some type of way because it's about Angela now. And
Could you roll your eyes harder, please?
I'm so aggravated.
I see. Go ahead.
So basically, she felt some type of way because he's been accused of sexual assault or whatever
Yes.
with all these women.
Yes.
Angela, you felt uncomfortable. Why are you not uncomfortable around Charlemagne the God?
Facts.
You want me to say her name?
Facts.
Jessica Reed.
Facts.
Angela, shut the fuck up forever. I don't care if that's disrespectful. I'm going to be disrespectful because as a woman, I would think you would have checked him and did your own research and have a conversation and bring that young lady onto the Breakfast Club without him and have that conversation. But you want us to feel some type of way because you felt some type of way about Russell Simmons? Ain't it your job to interview? That was your time to shine. Ask the questions. If he was disrespectful, then get ignorant right back. He's on your show. Y'all making him popular right now. But no. So Charlemagne, listen, I say go ahead and do your own thing because that's where you're headed. You really do not need these other two. I think you look stupid still sticking around these other two. I mean, you're bigger than that. I'm sorry, but you are. It's obvious. It's like trying to take a dump and only part of it comes out and the rest is still stuck there. So, I mean, and then you're constipated. It doesn't make any sense. You can carry your show by yourself. That's how big you are.
That analogy was rough.
So, I mean, you can do without and you will be fine. And your followers will follow you. Now the show will go down because the only thing they could do is replace you with somebody that's like you, and nobody's going to be like you.
No.
That's the problem.
No.
Now, could they still call it the Breakfast Club and get brand new hosts? Absolutely. And that's probably what they should do. But hey, it is what it is. But, Angela Yee, I will never say your name again. I have no respect for you, especially since you can't tell the difference between a fetus and a baby. And the fact that you think it's okay for women to just go out and get abortions, especially if you've never had a child, and you think it's okay to have young children be gender fluid.
Maybe she's had abortions, though.
She probably did, and she's
I mean,
trying to
allegedly.
protect
I
her
don't
rights.
know.
To have an
Allegedly,
abortion.
we don't know. I'm just saying.
And
Maybe
here's
she
the
has.
thing. You know, what Angela Stanton King was saying, go ahead and have an abortion if that's what you want, or have surgeries.
Right.
We shouldn't have to pay for that. But obviously, she thinks that we should. But then again, you making all that money, sweetheart. Please, by all means, lip service is doing well for you. Go ahead. Knock yourself out and pay for everybody's surgeries. Help the Wades. Because not only do they have the son, but, Dwayne is looking like he's about to do something. So, I mean, go right ahead. It's a matter of time before,
Jesus Christ.
It's the truth. Am I lying?
Just because you want to exploit his son to get some extra bucks. Why you hating on this nigga trying to make an extra million? Fuck it.
I'm hanging on him and his pink hair.
Didn't Magic do it? Oh, no, but he was over 18.
Oh,
we all
son.
forgot, right? Oh!
That was
We
a
all
disgrace.
forgot, right? But he was
no,
over 18.
because I can understand you being gay, but the way his son came out, I was embarrassed.
Surgery for pretty much a supreme minor. I mean,
Yeah.
you really haven't fully developed your mind and everything yet. Whereas, as far as Magic's son was a grown, it was, he likes
he was
men.
an adult. Oh, yeah.
Gay, but
At
he's not
13,
doing
how do you
no
know
surgeries.
that you like sex? How do you know what your dick feels like when it's inside of a woman?
Some-
How do you know what it feels like when it's inside of a man's butt? How do you know if you like it inside your butt?
You got to experience yourself. And you got to, if you peaked. Some people peaked for 13. For even regular, I peaked.
So at 13, this young man is interested in sex already?
It's possible. I was fucking at 12.
Should he be...
So just to give you that period, just to give you that point. If he was like, hey, I want to go suck on a thing, that's him. I was into girls. I went and
So
got me a girl.
discovering himself that he
It's
wants to
possible.
be a female at age 12, 11, When does he have time to be around other men, boys, to want to play with their pee-pees?
I think a lot because they live a different lifestyle than us.
Well,
I think, and I'm being honest. Yeah,
with the amount of money that
with the amount of money,
through that household, they experience.
They don't live a Nordic lifestyle.
Life than
They're
we experience.
yeah.
So are we saying
He's spending winters in the Alps and shit? So
pretty much.
Oh, so we're saying that the parents are helping to fund his sexual outings?
No, I'm saying the parents are putting him in other positions where other kids have nothing to do. School is not a big preference to them. And they go to the best schools, but these kids think they're adults already at these young ages.
Oh, that's why he's
So
got the
they
fake
can do
nails
these
and the crop
things.
tops.
Well,
Okay.
I mean,
Right.
it's just more lines of like back in the days, boys used to play with dolls because they would be around girls, and you had to be taught dolls are for girls, GI Joes are
Right.
for you. So at this age that he is, I don't think he is fully aware of what he likes. He might like women, he might like men. I put it interesting to like the Caitlyn situation.
Mhm.
Okay, you went and got the implants, but you refused to cut your penis off. But you're still with a woman.
Because the man part wants to still get that.
So that's what I'm saying. Like, you know, it's they want to keep these individuals on these drugs so they can feel this way or that way, and they come up with all these different things
True.
for the trillionaire pharmaceutical company to continue to be trillionaires.
Okay. Now, say her name, Breonna Taylor. So I came across a post because, you know, everybody's posting saying that, you know, it's a good day to arrest the cops that murdered Breonna Taylor.
Mm-hmm.
Then this post came up, the truth about Breonna Taylor. I said, okay. One, she wasn't an EMT. She was terminated in 2017. Okay. So she wasn't an EMT now. She was. Two, she was knee-deep in criminal drug dealing activities with her ex-boyfriends. Three, she was on jailhouse recordings running drugs for her ex-boyfriend. 4, she was under surveillance for months running drugs. 5, she was on the warrant, as was her car and her apartment. The officers did, in fact, knock and announce despite obtaining a no-knock exception on the warrant. Breonna's boyfriend fired at officers striking an officer. Officers fired back, and Breonna took the shots. She was not asleep in her bed.
We never said that.
So I had to research, right?
Okay.
And
that's
like
fine.
a lot of other people, we had trouble trying to verify any of these.
Right.
So the person that posted this said that it will be announced in court, and she got it from another source that was credible, that basically leaked this. So I'm confused. I'm like, okay, so now I feel like this is another Candace Owens situation.
A Candace Owens situation? Okay.
So a woman, regardless, she took the shots. Did she have a weapon? Guys, did she have a weapon?
She? No.
Okay, so I'm thinking now. I'm Breonna. Here are the cops. The boyfriend, as everybody's saying, had the gun.
Yes.
Okay, now you are all trained cops. You shooting, you're gonna shoot the boyfriend. She could be standing there. However, she's not shooting at you because she doesn't have a weapon. So why are we focused on that she wasn't an EMT? Why are we focused on that she ran drugs? I don't care if you're the biggest drug dealer in the world. If you don't have a weapon, you don't have a weapon.
Right.
So how are you a threat to the cops? You could knock on a door all day long. How are you a threat to the cops?
Right.
You're so skilled and trained at what you do. Why is it that you guys have a hard time just taking a knee? I don't know, shooting someone's knee? Shooting her in the thigh? Did it ever occur to you?
Right.
Not to shoot her and kill her. I mean, she took how many bullets?
Right.
Because you could tell me that she wasn't asleep. So if she wasn't asleep, then you knew that she was... I'm confused.
Right.
You have that source name?
Huh?
The person
The
that's
source.
claiming these things? Because I'm about to shoot them down altogether. Because I actually heard the 911 call with Kenneth
Yeah.
during the case.
Yeah.
During this situation. So I want you to put that person's name out there that just wants to discredit this young lady, obviously to try to help these police officers out, where one of the three already have lost their job.
The shit falls apart. Oh, go ahead. Say the name.
Her name is Corinne Tatum.
I'm gonna find you, and I'm gonna put your photo the fuck up.
Now, really quick, and I know you're gonna go in more. There would have never been any arrest of them if her name was on that warrant, or if she was suspect, because that would have been the first thing she put out. Criminal mastermind. You know what I'm saying? Shoots back at cops or whatever it would have been that.
Yeah,
line.
name wasn't on that knock
Right.
warrant.
You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And if she had any history like that, that would have been the third thing they put up there. My officers did good. They defended themselves between the
Yes
person
and
trying
no.
to kill.
I would
There's
say
more.
right now that they're when it comes to a certain sense, they don't want to beat a dead horse. And in this situation, you don't want to throw gasoline on the Black Lives Matter firestorm that's happening. No, I'm saying as far as right now.
Yeah.
Okay, her name wasn't on the warrant. All right. Now, this is because of this situation, you do not want to do what they normally do, and that is try to discredit an individual because she's already dead. And you don't want to fan the fire that's already a bushfire. I mean, you're flaming on.
If, just really quick, and I will let her finish. But if I was one of those cops that got arrested,
Right.
that would have been the first thing. Like, what the fuck you putting me in cuffs for? You knew she was a mastermind or whatever it is.
Right.
You get what I'm saying? But go ahead. What's up?
So, not that it matters,
Shoot.
but her mother is also a big gangbanger, heavily involved in criminal activity. It runs in the family, I guess, is what the Corinne Tatum said.
Text me that name. I'm gonna put it on
I
blast.
said I tagged you.
All right.
So, here's the thing: people are so quick, and this is what irritates me.
Mm-hmm.
Somebody dies at the hands of the cops. Again, unarmed. I don't care, and nobody else cares about their criminal history. It doesn't matter. It's the fact that when it comes to black people, we're the first to die in situations like this. And had it been a white person, guess what? They would have made it out alive.
Yeah.
Do y'all not see the disparity here? So to go around and post stuff like this, especially when nobody else can verify what you're talking about, that's a bit of a problem. And there are plenty of people who were commenting saying they can't find proof of any of this. So you can't post something if somebody, I can understand if, listen, say this is all true. The person who sent it to you released it sooner than they should have. Because if nobody else can verify it, then that means that it wasn't meant for you to post yet.
Yeah.
Now, if we're wrong, we're wrong. But for right now, all I know is that this young lady, and I don't really care what she did to get by. I don't care how long she ran drugs for, if she ran drugs, or whatever she did to get by. She didn't deserve to die. She wasn't taking nobody's life. Just because she ran drugs doesn't mean she was sticking people with a needle. Okay? You know what neighborhood she was in. Does that matter? Or does her life matter? You even have a new law. The Breonna Taylor.
Yes.
So what am I missing here? You fired one cop, right?
Yep.
So what am I missing? If they didn't do anything wrong, then what you fire the cop for? I'm gonna need for people to stop digging in people's past, making that the topic of what happens so that it overshadows the injustices that we see on a daily basis. So I'll keep saying her name because she deserves justice. Because if she is a drug, or if she was a drug dealer, then basically, like every other drug dealer, you put them in cuffs and you take them to jail.
Yep.
She should be breathing still. And maybe you never know. She could change somebody else's life. Okay?
True.
But hey,
What
Miss
y'all
Tatum?
need to do is, what's the name though?
knock yourself out.
Go to the 911 call where you'll hear Mr. Kenneth on the phone with 911 screaming, "Who is it?" while their police officers are trying to break down the door.
Right.
And not one police officer identified themselves and said police. So for this person to go on and say they did, come on, man. Come on.
So we're going to switch gears because that's what we do. This is so random. I call this the rainbow commercials. We're celebrating Pride Month. And I came across a commercial that stated a period doesn't make you a woman.
Oh shit.
I've seen that.
I want to say wearing heels don't make you a woman either, but okay. Um, so I had to do some more research because that bothered me. So there's a commercial by Thinx. Thinx is underwear that absorbs your period. So for a lot of women, they don't like pads, they don't like tampons, and now they make these underwear that you wouldn't have to do that. You could just like switch them out, clean them. But that's disgusting to me because if you ever experienced a period, no. That's nasty. That's just like wearing regular underwear and just letting it flow. Like, what do you do on your heavy days? So the commercial has, a bunch of men and boys, and it starts off with this boy sitting on the bed, and he gets up, goes to his father, and says, "I think I got my period."
Wow.
Then you see a man in the bed. He rolls over, and you see a red stain because he
Wow.
bled through the night. And sometimes, if it flows a certain way, you could stain the bed. That's what happens when you're a woman. You see a guy wearing a Speedo, and you see the tampon string hanging down. So these are all sex change. I don't want to call them transgender, or do I? I don't even know what they are. So they used to be women, but now they identify themselves as men. But they didn't go through the whole surgery, which I think would have been to remove the uterus so they wouldn't get their period. So I'm thinking if you're a woman but you identify yourself as a man and you want the surgery, then that includes having a hysterectomy. So that way you will never get your period again because you don't want to be a man.
Right.
I mean, you don't want to be a woman.
A full.
See how confusing it gets? So
You get the full surgery. We call. Yeah, go ahead.
in that commercial, it also said at the end, if we all had them, this is about periods, if we all had them, maybe we would be more comfortable with them. The fuck?
Thank you. Woo.
If you want to be a man, then you shouldn't be bleeding at all. If you're going to be 100% male, then get a hysterectomy so you don't have no fallopian tubes, no nothing that you were born with.
God damn.
What am I missing? I don't have a problem with this community doing things that they do because you want to feel good about yourself. Listen, whatever. That's your personal business. But don't have a commercial celebrating men having periods too. Like they had this kid in high school, and he opens the locker door, and then the pads fall out, and this girl comes and she's like, "Oh, let me help you with that." He was like, "Oh, thank you." And I'm thinking to myself, if you're living your life as a man, men don't have periods. Why are you trying to convince me that a man gets a period too? Because he or she decided to become a man. Well, if you decide to become a man, then go full throttle. Get yourself a hysterectomy and then get yourself a penis attachment. Yeah. What is the problem? Then I can call you a man. Oh, don't forget that in New York, you can change your birth certificate, which I think is ridiculous. So why would you want to... Here's my thing. Because no matter what, you're confusing a whole lot of people. And I'll be damned if I meet somebody and then I fall in love with them only to find out that this motherfucker used to be a woman. There's not enough love. What's love got to do with that? It's deceitful. Then you wonder why people get beat up in the alley. Because they're being deceived. That's a fact. You're still living a lie every single day. You will always live a lie every single day. Everybody has a right to know. You're supposed to disclose yourself. You don't do that to people. That's just like if I was a man and I became a woman. It is my duty to let that person know what I really was before I had this operation.
Mm-hmm.
And he's gonna find out. She's gonna find out. Remember Maury? When he would have... No, it wasn't Maury. It was the other one. Springer.
Yep.
You had a guy, beautiful girl. The guy's coming on to tell the secret that he was born a she.
Yeah.
Now he's with this beautiful woman. Now he has to reveal the secret. She's upset. She's in shock. He doesn't want her to leave. And then she's starting to replay things in her head. Like, where did I miss this? And then it's like now certain things are coming together because there's certain things you would do, certain things you wouldn't do.
Yep.
That kind of gave her pause. But then it's like she invested all this time. She's confused. Now she's thinking, what the hell, am I gay? That's another thing. If you have a sex change, but, okay, you're a girl, you decide to be a boy,
Okay.
but you date girls. So, in theory, you are gay. Okay? But now that you're dating me, does that make me gay? Because you originally started off as a girl.
No.
You're still bleeding. We haven't had sex yet. Because every time we get to that point, you're always pleasing me. I'm never pleasing you because you don't want me to please you.
Right.
You're always talking about it's about me. See, I mean, it's confusing for everybody. But now you're telling me that men get to have periods too? Like, what are we doing? Why are we going through all this? I'm for you having your sex change. But if you're going to be a man, then I suggest you get yourself a hysterectomy. And I suggest you get yourself a penis attachment and call it a day. That way, you're no longer bleeding. I'm tired of people hijacking the movement of being a woman. But having a period doesn't make you a woman. Men can get periods too. Well, mommy, how is that possible that a man can have a period? Well, sweetheart, a man can be born with... Are you following me? So now I'm going to tell my kid a man can be born with a uterus. Because that makes all the sense in the world. But that's not what we learn in science, in health class.
Health, yes.
No, because in order to have a uterus, you have to be born a female. You don't find out that you're a man because you don't feel like a man until you get older. And because you were 5 years old. Oh, speaking of little boys, this bitch. Charlize Theron, you're canceled too. Why are we allowing these white women, I don't care if she's from South Africa, why the hell are we allowing these white people adopting our black boys and turning them into girls? Not only did she say, well, when they were younger, they said, don't call me a boy, I'm a girl.
Okay.
Bitch, you were supposed to correct them and say, no, you a boy. But I guess you're too soft for that, right? You didn't know what to do, so you let them walk around in tutus. Now these boys got braids, and they look like girls. So I'm pretty much wondering, and I can pretty much assume correctly, that she's part of the agenda to demasculate our men.
What the...
And we need to save our boys. Because they're being taught that it's okay to be feminine. They're being taught that it's okay to wear a tutu. They're being taught it's okay to be a princess. They're being taught that it's okay, you know, well, hey, wait a minute. You said, but boys have periods too. So how are you going to let a little boy who's now a girl get his period?
Have an operation. Spray some juice.
So are you going to take one person's uterus that they had removed and implant that uterus inside the boy so he can now become a girl, take off his penis or stick his penis back inside so he can receive penis. I'm sorry, so she can receive penis. Is that how it works?
Yep.
Am I confusing anybody?
Yeah.
Oh, shit.
Why are we not protecting our kids? Why are we not protecting our kids? Are they even in therapy?
I bet you they are.
Why are we not protecting our kids? Why did you adopt black kids in the first place?
I got a question.
So I know that we have black hunting season, but is there another season that we don't know about? We're going to have to get the statistics on how many white people be adopting our black people.
A lot. But those kids weren't American. I
don't care if they're American. The fact of the matter is, in times like this, we all black.
So let me ask you: is it a bigger question that a white person adopted a black child, or the fact that she's letting them do what they want to do? And I'm gonna leave it at that. They want to be girls, let them be girls early. They want to be whatever. You get what I'm saying? It's a bigger issue.
I will go hard if they were white.
If she was doing that with her white children.
Yes.
So,
I will go because I'm for children.
we can't be for children because children don't know anything, which is you saying, which is what you're saying. You're for adults leading that child down of what we think is right because she thinks being a girl is right, and you think being whatever you're born with is right. So we're all, you get what I'm saying? We're all about children are nothing. They're property at this time. You do as I say when you get 18 and
Be
free.
careful of saying property.
We have to say property
You
because
cannot say
everything.
property.
Why can't you say property?
Because you're going to insult some people out
shut
there.
up.
Come
Shut
on
up.
now.
Shut up. What you raise them, I can kill them, right? Or whatever it is. If we do that, when we talk about Charlize Theron, this brings the Angelina Jolie thing up. Remember her and Brad got together?
Shiloh.
Right, but remember they adopted the kids, and then they had their own kids?
Shiloh.
Is that the son's name? Whatever it is?
Shiloh.
Whatever.
It's a girl.
Started off
It's a
as
girl.
a girl, and
Did it start as a
then
girl? I thought it was under the boy went to a girl.
and now she tried to make Brad Pitt look crazy, but we all see that it was really her.
We
looking
all
crazy.
forgot Brad Pitt was from the South.
Yeah.
White, black, he was that old South. You know what I'm saying? He cool in the mug. He from the South. Yeah, we don't do that shit around here. I beat my kids. I raised them right.
Facts.
That's why they broke up. Remember, she's too aggressive on the plane, and he told them that. The nigga had some drinks, and he got the truth in him. Yo, sit your ass down on this motherfucking $20,000 ride. You get what I'm saying? Whichever way it is, but this always brings it in there. They're under the eye. So now you have somebody correct their child and say, yo, you can't run around in a dress. You a little boy. You get what I'm saying? Somebody thinks just like you, and he going to lose all his endorsements and all this other shit because he's not expressing freedom or whatever we calling freedom at this moment.
How is it freedom when these are children?
Because this is America and everybody, I'm doing air quotes, people. You can't see me back here. I'm doing air quotes. Everybody is supposed to have this type of freedom. That's why people come to this country. I can be me. I couldn't be me where I was from. I had to go under the society norms. I had to go do this. They think it's okay for an 8-year-old, to have this freedoms or whatever it is.
There's not enough alcohol for this conversation. This is like,
I hope and pray you never have to face this. You know what I mean? I hope and pray.
listen, I'm disgusted. I'm disgusted that you have two boys looking like girls because at 2 years old they told you don't call me from Africa. Don't call me a boy. I'm a girl from Africa. What the hell they know about boys and girls? You're the parents.
Okay.
They said it was okay for you to adopt some black kids who need a home because you white and you rich, and now you done sat there and turned our boys into girls. Everybody should be pissed off. And like I said, I'd be just as pissed if they were white kids. You know why? I'd be just as pissed if they were Asian kids because they are children. They don't have anybody else. They don't have nobody fighting for them. They have to do what she says. So I could grow up. Say that girl grows up, that boy grows up, and he's a girl. And then all of a sudden, he's like, he wakes up and has an epiphany. I know I said I might have felt like a girl, but you really let me dress up like a girl? Like, damn. What if one day he reverses himself and is like, why am I dressed like a girl again? What if one day his little penis, and wait a minute. You know in New York that they can give you the injections and stuff.
The hormone therapy, yep.
So, okay, so now who's protecting our kids? So you're going to sit there and tell me before they hit puberty, you want to give them injections. I don't have time for this. Social services. Y'all need to be paying attention.
You don't want it up. Social services agrees with everything you don't agree.
Oh, shit.
It's
Y'all
America
going
and
to
the
hell.
freedom.
I
They
would
have the
say-
right. The human beings, they have
I
the
would
right.
say this. There
to
was
it.
a show, I forgot the name of it, was on HBO or
Yeah, I was just
Showtime,
letting you know.
with Don Cheadle.
Okay.
What up, Don? Hotel Rwanda. Go ahead.
With his son was...
I remember that. He had the white wife, and she was
Right,
crazy, and the
his
son
wife
was
was
gay.
white.
Yep.
He was this big,
Yeah.
trades guy.
Yeah.
But his son, through the whole process of the show, his son, at a young age, dressed as a girl,
Yeah.
and he was uncomfortable with it, but he didn't approach it, he didn't force it, but through the process of the show, what I loved about the actual growth of it is the boy wound up liking boys, and then wound up liking girls once he got older, and then wanted both. But you saw the growth where you allowed the child to truly grow into what they actually really like.
Right.
As far as like what you're saying, you're saying this, okay, surgery, 12 years old. And that's pretty much around the age that they started when the show started. And then after years passed, he liked boys and he liked girls.
Right.
But
Right.
if he went ahead and had that surgery,
Should have been screwed.
But even the doctors don't push surgery at that young. They let them lead their path.
Jeff, when you're
So when
rich,
they
you can
get
get
there-
surgery at any age. What you talking about?
Yeah, but they shouldn't. And I think the adults know they shouldn't. See, I think the real problem that you have with Wade and all of them, they exploit their children.
facts.
They exploit
my
their children.
issue.
But no, hold up. You would exploit your child if he was doing regular hormone, whatever norm shit, and for whatever it is, that's still exploitation. Putting your child on YouTube is exploitation and making money off of it. You just happy because he gets money. You know what I'm saying? You just like it because it's not the social norm. And he's out there doing it. It's the truth. It's the sad truth. You know what I mean? Because
It's sad.
if he was under the closet and he did it like Magic Son,
Under
we
the
see that
closet.
boy
See, you being insulting. Under the closet's in the closet.
in the closet, whatever, under the bridge. I don't care. Whatever the
Listen,
term is.
LGBTQ plus ABIP. So,
VIP.
and there's others. They keep coming out with new names, and at this point, it's getting ridiculous. I mean, now I'm gender fluid. I'm asexual. I this sex
The
likes
pronoun
all
they.
this stuff. I'm like, I don't understand it.
And the pronoun they. You have to say they.
Yeah.
Who the hell's they?
That's how they.
That's how they want to be
That's how they
addressed.
want to be referred to now.
Not
Not
he,
he.
not he or she.
Not he. Not she. They want to be referred
Not
to
it,
as they.
but they. So I'm like, well, what's wrong with it?
Take a sip.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah. I'm just saying, man.
So, let's get off of that topic. So, you know how everybody's saying Black Lives Matter,
Mm.
and we're trying to push, or people are trying to push, you know, shopping Black owned and doing things to build up the Black wealth. We have two people who want to keep dealing with the white people and partnering with the white people because they don't have faith in their Black people. Enter Kanye West, who inked a new deal with
Gap.
Gap. Mm-hmm.
Nice.
That's a good deal.
Nice
That's a
one.
very
That's a
good
good
deal,
one.
sir.
Real nice one.
But I'm thinking, since you're a billionaire and all, and we're trying to keep, I don't know, building up the Black wealth, you could have had a Yeezy store. It could have been Black owned, employ Black people, and, you know, put it into the Black communities, affordable, just like a Gap. It could have been a competitor of Gap. But for some reason, just like Democrats feel like they need Biden to give them reparations and to give them their freedom, you feel like you need Gap to help you with your endeavors. Good for you, sir. What a way to poop on your own kind. I mean, you could have had your AKA quote Yeezy Gap store in Chicago and could have given jobs to your people, and it could have been Black owned, but that's okay. You stick with Gap. I may go to Gap when it comes out because if it's affordable, I may want to purchase some stuff. Then there's Gucci Mane, and he claims, we don't know if it's true or not, but he may be partnering with Gucci itself, and I do believe even Boozy said Gucci is racist. They don't like Black people, but hey, people like him love Gucci. Sir, Black Lives Matter. We want to put our money where our mouth is and build up the Black communities and the wealth. You could take your money and start putting stores together and take some people, designers, Black designers, and build up their, you know, stock market, and I don't know. But you want to partner up with Gucci. These two ladies and gentlemen, they're such inspirations of what not to do, especially when you have money. But hey, that's the beauty of being Black. We do it to ourselves all the time. How is Chicago? Kanye? Hey, how you doing? Remember how George Floyd's daughter, you gave her, you know, money for college. So over Father's Day weekend, right? There was a big shooting. A 3-year-old lost his life. Say his name. Black Lives Matter is not around for that because it's Chicago, and you know Chicago goes back and forth anyway. So why would they care? It's Chicago. Sir, you used to live in Chicago, and I know at one point in time you wanted to move back to Chicago with your family, but Kim put the on that. So Sir, are you going to do anything for Chicago? Are you going to help him out? Are you? I mean, I'm confused. Oh, but you know what? Never mind. I don't need you. You know why? Because President Trump came through. You know what President Trump did? President Trump wrote a letter to the mayor and the governor for Chicago. Basically, let's do something about your crime because it's a problem. Yes, the president on his own did that. So, Black Lives Matter didn't do anything. They're not saying anybody's name. Kanye hasn't put out a statement saying that he's helping the families recover from this violence or trying to work with law enforcement to help curb the violence. But President Trump put out a letter saying, I'm done. I'm tired of all the corruption. Y'all you guys care about is your political gains and corruption. That's it. Y'all don't care about nothing about these people. He put you all on blast. You know what? That reminds me. The president also went to the border to, it was like the 200th mile marker.
Yes.
For the wall. And they were signing away at the 200 mile marker. That he took some questions. And somebody asked him, sir, why did you cancel or suspend the visas? And do you know what the president said?
What did he say?
You ready for this truth?
I'm ready.
Because we need to give jobs back to the Americans.
Wow.
I'm sorry, say that again? What? I'm sorry, sir. Are you thinking about the American people? Because a lot of people are unemployed now. So, did he just say he stopped the visa program because he's got to employ the Americans?
Mm-hmm.
I was talking to a coworker of mine.
Okay.
And he used to live in Ireland.
Okay.
And before he became a dual citizen, he was unemployed there.
Okay.
And he was having a hard time getting a job. So he contacted the local authorities and was trying to figure out what's going on. Like, why was he always getting rejected?
Right.
And they told him he's secondary.
Yes.
Until everybody that's unemployed that's a citizen gets a job, he can't get a job.
Wow.
Wait, so he was secondary in Ireland?
Yes.
Where was he from originally?
He's from here. He's
okay.
Yes,
Okay. I'm thinking he was from Ireland and came here.
He was
Yes,
considered
yes,
an immigrant. So Ireland said, we don't employ immigrants if there are people that are unemployed that are citizens. So they take care of their own first. Once everybody's taken care of, then you can get a job. So again, President Trump, why did you suspend the visas? And we're talking about the H-1Bs. And if you don't know about those are high-level positions.
Yes.
Like IT jobs, where I try to tell people before, you have to make 6 figures. There's no under nothing. It will tell you on the contract, this person has to make $125,000.
And the sad part is they get sponsored by the job. They get stay here with that, and then they send the money back home.
I'm sorry, they didn't hear you. You got to speak louder.
They usually get sponsored by the job.
No, just,
and they send the money back home.
One more time. And they what?
They send the money
The
back
money
home.
doesn't even stay here. So the president said, never mind, because you can employ American people. Do you know how many people go to college for IT or trade schools for IT?
Yep.
And the only reason why these companies hire overseas, and they'll tell you, it's because, they have this special skill. It's the same skills that they learn over here. But he's the devil. Oh, he's only trying to make sure that everybody's working, but he's the devil. How's Biden? Is he Biden? Hi, Biden. So before we go, I just want to point out, I figured out what the Democrats are doing, the left. Mm-hmm. And so I realized that Biden is the face of the party. He's the face that's running against Trump.
Right.
But the person who's going to be president is whoever his VP is. I think that's deceitful. I think the Democrats are lying to us. I saw a press conference where Biden, even though he had teleprompters, was struggling. So it's just a matter of time when he announces who his VP is, and that's going to be your president, because they will invoke the 25th Amendment.
Yeah.
And when they do, they're going to swap him out.
idea.
But I'm pretty willing to bet the Republicans will call them out on it. Because this man is not well. I don't care what you say, he's not well. But hey, listen, don't listen to me. Y'all can do your research. I've only said a few things that happen to come to pass. But then again, I've also said a lot of things, and then people have said things after I've said it, so they kind of repeated what I said. So I guess you've heard it here first. So when it comes out that that's what they're trying to do, which is pull the wool over our heads, you heard it here first. I'm Butterfly Blackout. Till next time.